The investigation into the brutal murder of a schoolgirl continues. Don't miss out! The psychics will look the murderer in the eye. This is Psychic Investigations, a channel of true and shocking stories. Here, people who call themselves clairvoyants investigate incredible mystical anomalies and high-profile criminal cases. In this episode, psychics Khayál Alekpérov and Janna Shulakóva will continue to investigate the murder of schoolgirl Khrystýna Storozhénko from a small Ukrainian village. On November 4, 2015, Khrystýna met with her friends at the local café. Around 8 p.m., everyone went home, but no one saw her again.
For 9 days, we searched for her. They called me on the 13th and said they had found her.
A local resident, Stepán Prokopénko, is suspected of the schoolgirl's murder. According to the investigation, he confessed to the crime, but Khrystýna's relatives and friends are sure that he is not the murderer.
There is no evidence against him. No fingerprints. Nothing.
The suspect has been in pretrial detention for 2 years, and the trial is still ongoing. Perhaps the prosecution still lacks the necessary evidence of his guilt.
My book says that the murderer is someone she knew very well. The psychics found out that Khrystýna's father, with whom Marina has not lived for many years, is categorically against their investigation.
It's locked.
There's someone inside.
Demitro.
Demitro, come out to talk to us, please.
Demitro, we need to know the truth.
I am not going to ask the devil what on God's mind is.
I now see your husband dragging your daughter's body into the car. Is the father really involved in the murder of his own daughter?
He took her body to the morgue by car. After the police dug her up, they simply abandoned her. There was no one to take her to the morgue.
Do you mean to say the police just turned around and left after they found the girl?
Yes.
The man refused to talk to us because of the horror he had to endure. The father is not involved in his daughter's murder.
Law enforcement officers are required to take a body from the place where it was found, as there are many valuable pieces of evidence on and around the body that will simply be lost.
My jinns are speaking. We need to find a man with fire on his shoulder. He is hiding the truth. The psychics sensed that they needed to return to the village center, where the investigation began. We saw a man with a fire tattoo. Marina, do you know who this man is?
Yes, I do. Mykola Prokopénko. He's the brother of the suspect.
Who murdered Khrystýna? You know who did it.
No, I don't.
You're lying.
I sense that you, like your brother, were also suspected of this murder.
Yes, the police suspected me.
At the interrogation, Stepán Prokopénko said that his brother Mykola helped him bury the body of the murdered schoolgirl. But why wasn't Mykola Prokopénko detained along with his brother?
I didn't do it. They needed to find a second person, so they pinned it on me.
I insisted that Stepán couldn't have done it alone. Physically, he couldn't even have lifted Khrystýna. And within a month, they found this Mykola.
Did you have an item that belonged to the victim at your home?
They found her chain, and there was a golden big icon on it.
I can't explain where that chain was from.
Then how did they link it to you?
You'll say your brother gave it to you, they told me.
Who said it?
At the police station. They beat me until I said what they wanted to hear. Then they gave me a paper and said I had to sign it. I refused, but they said if I resisted, I'd end up where my brother is.
And you confessed to everything and signed it.
Well, if they used an electric shocker and everything else on you, would you not confess?
Tell me, where were you on the evening Khrystýna disappeared?
At home. Everyone will confirm it.
Is your brother guilty of Khrystýna's murder?
Of course not.
So his confession was also forced, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
The best way to figure everything out is to reconstruct the events of the evening and go to the place where she was last seen alive.
It was in Dubrova. It's right here, nearby.
We're here to investigate the murder of Marina's daughter. Stepán Prokopénko is suspected of the murder. Was he here that evening?
Yes.
Khrystýna sat here.
Yes, here.
She sits here with her friends.
She was upset about something. Perhaps about the fight with her boyfriend, Demitro.
They quarreled the day before it happened.
She was upset. I asked her, Khrystýna, what happened? And she told me her boyfriend dumped her.
I see Khrystýna talking to a guy. He's tall and quite stocky.
Yes. Before leaving, she was sitting here with a guy.
The cafe employee saw Khrystýna sit at a table with her acquaintance, Yevhen Bondarenko.
I've known Yevhen since we were little. He and Khrystýna were friends, and they hung out together.
I see your daughter finish her coffee, say goodbye to her friends, and leave the cafe.
Did Khrystýna leave alone or with someone?
I see Khrystýna leave the cafe. She walks with this tall guy, Yevhen. They stop to talk here. Then a fair-colored car approached them, driven by a guy. He seems to be inviting Khrystýna into the car. We need to talk to this Yevhen.
Hello?
Hello. We agree to talk, but only without the cameras.
Excuse me, but who are you?
I'm his mother.
Yevhen's mother?
Yes, Tetiana, let's go.
It's very strange. Is Yevhen afraid to say something? Could he be hiding something? Yevhen, you have nothing to fear.
Okay, I've got nothing to hide.
Were you Khrystýna's close friend?
Yes.
What happened that evening when Khrystýna disappeared?
We were sitting in the cafe. When we went out, she got into their car and left.
Whose car did she get into?
There were the guy who's doing his time and his relative Cherednichenko.
It turned out that during the interrogation, Stepán said that after the cafe, Khrystýna got into the car with him and his relative with the rare name, Khayál Cherednichenko. Did Khrystýna call you after that? Did those guys take her home?
They told me they dropped her off near the dormitory. There, she got into a car and left. A dark foreign car pulled up.
Strangely, during the interrogation, Stepán Prokopénko stated that Khayál Cherednichenko drove them to the forest in his car and then left. And they stayed in the forest with Khrystýna and had sexual intercourse there.
We talked, and then we had sex. And then she started saying terrible things about me and my mother. I lost control and strangled her. So, what really happened that night? Was Khrystýna left near the dormitory where she got into another car? Or did Khayál Cherednichenko take her to the forest with Stepán?
Did you call her to find out where she went?
I was already on my way home. I called her and asked where she was, and she told me she was home, sleeping. Then my phone's battery died. I came home, put the phone on charge, and the next day I went to work.
At 7 in the morning.
Wait. My book says it's not true. The girl didn't get into the dark car.
I think they're lying. I want to see this Khayál.
Zhánna, this Yevhen is strange. I can't tell if he is lying or just repeating someone else's lies. He's hiding something.
It might be. Hello, my name is Zhánna, and this is Khayál.
Where is your son now?
He's a soldier. He's serving in the army.
Today we talked to a guy named Yevhen. He says that your son and Stepán Prokopénko picked up the girl that night.
He told me his recollection of that night was blurry. He said he drank a bottle of vodka, but if they drank a bottle of vodka or cognac, they weren't drunk.
But if you say they weren't drunk, then why did your son have memory lapses?
Let me dial him. I'm putting him on the speakerphone.
Hello.
How did it go? Did Khrystýna leave with you and Stepán?
We stopped in the woods and they got out of the car.
Stepán and Khrystýna?
Yes, they got out of the car and I went home.
But according to Yevhen, Khrystýna got into another car near the dormitory. How can we know what is true?
I wasn't there and I didn't do anything.
Basically, everyone is lying.
What am I lying about? Please tell me.
Are you sure your son has nothing to do with Khrystýna's murder?
I have some doubts. I asked him where they went and what they did. He and Stepán lied that they didn't see her that evening, but then it turned out they did. And that's it. He said Stepán asked him not to say anything because he stayed there.
But if your son is innocent, who do you think strangled Khrystýna? Stepán?
No. Stepán isn't the kind of person who could strangle someone. No.
So, who do you think killed her?
You came and you will leave soon, but we live here all the time. For 3 months, a black car was watching my house. They hit me on the road and said next time they would hit my children.
Who told you that? The woman is silent. But if we assume that both Stepán and Khayál are involved in the girl's death, then why is only one of them accused of the murder? I understood that both Stepán and Khayál were somehow involved in the girl's death. However, I felt that someone else was also involved in this case. We need to go to the place where her body was buried. Maybe there we will see how everything happened on the night of her murder.
It's far and it's dark. I suggest continuing tomorrow morning.
The next day, the psychics meet with Khrystýna's mother again.
I want to go to the place where your daughter was killed. I need to see the exact place of her death.
According to the reports, it happened in the woods.
Then I'll go to the place where the body was buried.
According to the case materials, after the murder, Stepán transported the girl's body to the forest strip 20 kilometers from there.
All of this is very strange. Why would a killer transport a victim's body from forest to forest strip? Janna Shulakóva is heading to the place that, according to the documents, is where Khrystýna was murdered, and Khayál Alekpérov and the victim's mother are going to the place where her daughter's body was found. Khrystýna's spirit is with us now. Your daughter was brought here when she was already dead.
Who brought her? How many of them were there?
I see 3 silhouettes. But why was the schoolgirl's body transported here, 20 kilometers from the place where, according to the investigation, she was murdered?
It's very strange. This is not the place of the murder. Khrystýna wasn't killed here. Look. This is the deer Khayál saw in his vision yesterday.
A silver deer will point the way to the falsehood.
This place was conveniently made to look like the place of death, to divert attention from where Khrystýna was actually killed.
It's It's weird that the soil traces found on the victim's shoes do not match the soil samples from the place the police consider the crime scene. This is simply impossible.
So, where was Khrystýna really killed? And why would someone hide the real place of her death?
Marina, my jinns are telling me that she was killed somewhere nearby.
Where?
At that moment, I remembered the fire blazing in the field.
Everything is burning.
That place. I passed by it. There was some kind of oil rig there.
It's the oil and gas field called Sakhalinka.
Zhánna, we need to go to the oil rig. I feel that Khrystýna was killed somewhere here, in some small enclosed space.
What is this trailer?
Well, workers live and work here.
It's a place where a person was tortured. A room I would call a torture chamber.
Khrystýna didn't even think something terrible would happen to her. After all, there was her friend in the party she came here with.
Strangely, Khrystýna wasn't friends with either Stepán or Khayál. So, who is the friend the psychics are talking about?
I see Khrystýna, and next to her are the silhouettes of 3 people.
The people were not in their right mind. They were drunk. But Khrystýna didn't drink with them.
No alcohol was found in her blood.
Oh my goodness. I saw a woman with gray hair, but she wasn't old. It was a girl.
Her hair was gray when we buried her.
Marina, I'm very sorry, but I see that your daughter was raped. It was very brutal. The murderers covered her mouth with their hands. No one heard her screams.
Oh God,
There is no evidence in the case confirming sexual violence. Only the initial examination mentions a sexual act committed by a group of people, as sperm samples from several individuals were found in the victim's body. But the other case materials state that Khrystýna only had sexual intercourse with Stepán, and it was consensual. But how can this be?
Everything was torn. Everything that could be. Her ribs were broken. We were told that this happened during the autopsy, that such things can happen during an autopsy.
Then, why is only one person suspected of Khrystýna's murder? And if everything the psychic said is true, who is the third man involved in the schoolgirl's murder?
I see a seal. A key, a man who has the key.
Marina, which of Khrystýna's friends has access to any of these premises?
Bondarenko works here, and he is the only one with the keys to all of this.
I can't believe that.
What is that supposed to mean? This is the young man the psychics recently talked to?
I have a feeling that Khrystýna had been here before her death.
When we reviewed Khrystýna's chat with her boyfriend, Demitro, we found messages that confirm the psychic's words. In it, she informs Demitro that she went to see Yevhen at Sakhalinka. This is the name of the oil and gas field where the psychics were.
Bondarenko proposed to Khrystýna to start dating around the 1st of November. Khrystýna got along with Demitro, and then she wrote to Demitro that we can't get along with you because Bondarenko belongs to me.
What a horror! So the one for whom she had feelings is to blame for Khrystýna's death. And because of whom did she leave Demitro, who loved her so much?
I want to look this person in the eye.
Zhánna, no one will open the door for us. Yevhen is hiding the secret of Khrystýna's murder.
At the beginning of the investigation, the police took Yevhen Bondarenko's clothes for examination as one of the main suspects in the case. However, his name mysteriously evaporated from the case materials after that.
He has money. He definitely bought his way out. It was a group thing, but his family, his grandmother raises chickens and geese. They have a huge farm.
It appears that one of the men involved in this case is being covered up, while another one was removed from the case to avoid making it a group murder. And the third one still can't be imprisoned because the traces were poorly covered up.
Thank you so much for everything you've done for me.
Our editorial team contacted the top leadership of the police and urged them to conduct a thorough review of this case to ensure that the perpetrators responsible for the murder of Khrystýna are brought to justice. If you're impressed by this story, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. Many more shocking investigations are coming up.